Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to The Final Score with Matthew and
Stevie Clark. What's up, guys? The Final Score with you tonight. We have not done this. We'll get some feedback. There we go. Haven't done this in a while, and I wanted to get back on track with the Final Score on the fly. So, what better than Tuesday night to get you talking about what went on in the world of sports this past week? Of course, the World Series. What a 19-inning game last night. The Dodgers pulled it off. How about Ohtani? What was he on base 9 times? Jeez. So what a game last night. I think it went 6 hours and 39 minutes. You know, we don't talk much about baseball. We talk a lot about football, but what a classic game last night. And I was reading somewhere, you know, Brad Paisley played the national anthem, and I think he's done it at baseball games like 5 or 6 times, and every game has gone into extra innings. So if Brad Paisley's playing the national anthem at one of your games, you're probably either going to overtime or you're going to extra innings. So get that. So we like I said, we wanted to get this started back up again. A lot going on. Let's jump right into it. College football. Brian Kelly. And, you know, guys, I've never really cared for Brian Kelly. Didn't like him at Notre Dame. And then the arrogance he had while he was at when he came to LSU. He was fired after 4 years with LSU. You know, I think he showed up at the LSU headquarters, the offices, coaches' offices. He was locked out. But you know what? How much is getting fired actually punishing a coach these days when they're getting $54 million to stay out? I mean, just not to coach. They paid him $54 million not to coach. And I believe they still have another coach, the last coach that they are still paying too. They're paying like over $100 million for coaches. And you look now, college football coaching vacancies right now at Power 4 schools that have interim head coach: LSU, Florida, Penn State, UCLA, Arkansas, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State, and Stanford. So, I mean, you're going to have a crazy, crazy time when it comes to coaches this year. What about Deion in Colorado? Deion in Colorado get throttled the other night. Deion said they have to flush the toilet. Any of you guys think Deion might hang it up after this year with his health problems? And this team is not very good. He lost a lot of talent off last year's team. I think Deion maybe through in Colorado. He may take some time off from coaching. I don't know. It just seems like it's been a rough year, you know, between the cancer in the offseason, the blood clots. His health is not really good right now. And stressing over a football team won't make it any better either. So let's see. What do we got here? Do we have a top 25 in football, college football? We'll go through that before we get into the NFL. A lot to talk about in the NFL. Let's see. Vandy gets in the top 10 AP poll right here, babe. All right, so let's start from the 25 now. So making their return to the top 25, Memphis after a win over South Florida. South Florida drops out. Utah, who throttled Colorado this past week, moves up to 24th. USC, Lincoln Riley's team, at 23rd. Houston at 22nd. Michigan moves up from 25th to 21st. Texas, 22-20, with a big comeback win over Mississippi State. But now Arch Manning, you know, the whole flop, Archermania, which has been a huge disappointment this year. They moved 2 spots up from 22nd to 20th. And guys, I don't remember a quarterback coming in here with such hype that had absolutely done nothing. Everybody knows he was so hyped because of his last name, but he has not lived up to expectations. I don't think you'll see him come out in the draft this year. Missouri, they move up. They move down to number 19 after the loss to Vanderbilt. Oklahoma moves down five spots to number 18. They lost this week. Cincinnati from 21st to 17th. Louisville moves up 3 spots to 16th. Virginia, after a close win. I mean, Carolina lost to Virginia 17-16. They went for 2 in overtime and came about a foot short of getting the 2-point conversion to win the game. Go back to the Cal game too. Carolina was like 2 feet away from winning the last 2 games. Defense much improved. I've noticed that, but this Belichick experiment has been a failure so far. I don't know if it's gonna be enough to keep Belichick around. Tennessee, they move up to number 14. Texas Tech moves up a spot to 13th. Notre Dame stays put at 12. BYU, 8-0 at number 10, tied for 10th with Miami. BYU as a team, my ECU Pirates played pretty well for about a half. And then after a pick 6, it fell apart. But BYU has a good team. Miami, like I said, they dropped 1 spot to 10th, tied for 10th. Vanderbilt moves into the top 10, but I think it's the first time since 1937. They're at 9. Georgia Tech, who is having an incredible year as well, they're at number 8. Ole Miss at 7th. Oregon 6th. And after this, it's pretty much the same order. But you got Oregon, Georgia, Alabama, Texas A&M, Indiana, and Ohio State rounding it up. Indiana, 56-6 over UCLA. If anybody didn't think Indiana was for real, I think they proved it Saturday. The Indiana is going to be a tough out. Ohio State is a really good team, but Indiana's fired up. They remember, I think last year Ohio State put it on them when they were undefeated. So now we're going to see what they're made of. The top 3 right there, except for Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M being in that top 3 is kind of surprising me. Alabama's improved a lot. Georgia's Georgia. Oregon, they're going to be there anyway. But college football, if you want to check us out tomorrow night, another podcast I do, the Sports Objective, which is an all ECU sports podcast. We'll probably be on at 8. I think it's at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll have a preview of the ECU game coming up this Saturday at Temple, which is a 2 o'clock start, which is kind of weird time for a start. But anyway, so join us tomorrow night. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you watch your shows at. NFL. Before we get into NFL, let's talk about the NBA a little bit. We don't talk a lot about the NBA because I don't watch a lot of NBA anymore because NBA has become a shell of its former self. And now with the mafia ties to the NFL, to the NBA, players and coaches involved in gambling on games, it's a shamble in the NBA right now. And what I'm getting tired of too, not just the whole situation there. We'll get into that situation on another episode when I have some guests. What kills me is the people out here ever since the start of the season. Every game, I think I've seen 1 game so far, and I don't keep up with it, so I'd really have to go back and watch. I guarantee you 95% of the games this year, and it hasn't started long. Each team has scored over 100 points. And people are talking about, well, he scored 40 points, and he scored 40 points tonight. He scored 50. Do you know why? These teams aren't playing defense, guys. There's no defense in the NBA anymore. It's all about who can shoot the longest three. Or, who can take 4 steps without dribbling to the basket and dunk. And that's impressive. It's the NBA really needs something to change there. Somebody needs to change. I don't know if they need a change at the head of the table. I think, what's his name? Adam, is it? I can't remember his name. But this is ridiculous that people think it's so impressive that they're scoring all these points. I mean, you're scoring 140 points. A team is scoring 140 points a game. That used to happen in the NBA when you went to double overtime because they played defense back then. And I know people get sick of me talking about the difference between the NBA when I watched it in the 80s and 90s and now. But if you call that competitive basketball, that's like watching what used to be the NBA All-Star game. Because, and even then, back in the 80s and 90s, they played defense in there, but they would have a quarter where they would just let it go. But when it came to the fourth quarter, it was competitive. They wanted to win. But it's a joke, guys. The NBA is a joke. That's all I can say. The NBA is a joke, and you can mark my words on that. But moving on. I'm not going to get much of that. I really wish my host, he was a little under the weather tonight. So I wanted to bounce this. I'm going to save some of this for him next week when he comes on. So the NFL. And before we get into this recap this week, guys, I got a rant on the NFL. Referees. And, I'm a former coach. So you're going to say, yeah, well, you fuss at referees all the time. I did have some words for some referees sometimes, but NFL referees, I don't know what their salary is. They're professional referees. And to get paid what they are and to make some of the sorriest calls they've made this year so inconsistent. Let's get to one thing, and you Philadelphia Eagle fans are going to hate my guts. The tush push. Look, when it started, I was all like some people saying, if you can't stop it, learn how to stop it. You're whining about it because you can't stop it. But now, when you don't know how to officiate the tush push between offensive linemen jumping off sides, false starts that aren't getting called, and what we saw this past Sunday with Philadelphia against the Giants on a 4th and 1, Jalen Hurts goes through the line, hasn't even really been pushed yet. He reaches the ball out. Thibodeau from the Giants rips the ball away and takes it down with him. Whistle blows. You think it's Giants ball? No. Referee said the Hurts forward progress had stopped. He was reaching forward. I mean, it's not like you cross the plane of the goal line and it's automatic touchdown. He was reaching forward. He was moving forward. Horrible call. The Giants fans should be ticked off. NFL fans, except for Eagles fans, should be ticked off because it's ridiculous, guys. That was not, you need, and I'm saying it now, I've changed my mind. This past week changed my mind. Over the past 2 or 3 weeks, it's changed my mind. Between the false starts and this play, you need to ban the tush push because your referees don't know how to officiate it. It needs to go. Because there's going to be more calls like this. And that could have been a turning point in the game. I think the Eagles went on to score a touchdown. But how can you – I know that's a judgment call, but, even me watching it, you could tell his forward movement was not stopped. So, other calls. The Pittsburgh game. and I'm not saying, look, I wear this hat proudly, even though they suck. This call wouldn't have made a hill of beans in that game, but you've got an obvious encroachment on Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers thought he had a free play, throws the ball up, no flag. You look back at the replay, the guy is so far offsides when the ball is snapped. So what do they do? Nothing. I'll push off, offensive pass interference not called, and there were several other calls this past week that made a lot of people start talking about the referees. It's all over ESPN on Monday and Tuesday. I mean, something's got to be done about it. But will it get done? No. And, it kind of makes you wonder, guys, because we've been doing this, we've been saying this for a while since Kansas City started winning all their games. How many times have you seen the post or heard people talk about Kansas City getting favorable calls? Philadelphia wins the Super Bowl. Tush Push is getting favorable calls. I don't want to say this, guys, but if it can happen in the NBA, it can happen in the NFL too. Mafia guys can get to different people. It don't just have to be the NBA. So I'm gonna just leave it there. And like I said, when I have somebody to bounce this stuff off of, I'll feel more comfortable talking about it. But yeah, that was it. All right. So let's go through our recap of last week. What week was that? Was it week 6? Week 8. Okay, we're already at week 8 or going into week 9 now. So Thursday night game, Chargers and Vikings, blowout. Sorry, John Michael. Sorry, McKinley. The Chargers win 37-10. Are the Chargers for real? Can Justin Herbert finally live up to his potential, and does he finally have the weapons to get something done in the playoffs? They're 5-3. The loss to the Colts was kind of surprising, but maybe not really surprising now. I just don't know. I don't know if is this going to be one of those years where he gets to a certain point and then the playoffs doesn't show up again. Vikings, J.J. McCarthy will be back. Carson Wentz shut down for the year, which, I mean, he was just stepping in there till he got back, till McCarthy got back. McCarthy comes back this week. Wentz is out with a shoulder injury. He's going to have shoulder surgery. How much longer do you think Carson Wentz is going? I don't think it's going to be. I don't think he comes back from this. But the Vikings fall to 3-4. What a wild game. Jets and Bengals. Jets looking for their first win. Bengals coming off that win over Pittsburgh. Joe Flacco mania running wild in Cincinnati. And this was a blowout for a while. Last week Fields gets benched. He comes to life. And the Jets get the first win for head coach Aaron Glenn, 39-38. Wild game. Fields, the offense comes alive. Fields, and I've been saying with good reason over the last couple of weeks, Fields is a bust because, I mean, they had less than 100 yards of offense. Was it against the Vikings when they were overseas in London? Less than 100 yards of offense, guys. But Fields said in his press conference, he cried this week. He prayed. He sat in his closet and prayed about this stuff. And, you like to hear that from a guy that, he's a good man, a good man of faith. And it works out for him. We'll see where it goes from here. It's the Jets. So we'll see where it goes from here. Jets moved to 1-7. Bengals fall to 3-5. Bengals D, the head coach calls them out for giving up 39 points. Have you not watched your defense the last 2 years, guy? Your defense is terrible. Your defense is horrible. Has there been a game where you didn't give up 30 points? No, I don't think so. So calling out your defense, I mean, yeah, go ahead, but they know it. Everybody knows it. It's obvious. You're not telling anybody anything. All right, moving on. Bills and Panthers. Bills had that game against the Patriots on, was it Sunday night game? Lost to the Patriots, kind of surprising. Um, can he get back on track? Josh Allen didn't have the best game against the Patriots, and really didn't have that great of a game here. James Cook, man, 200, I think it was 215 yards rushing. He was the player of the game. Is he considered elite running back now? I think so. I think he's moving into that upper echelon, and that's what Josh Allen needs. He needs a running back where he doesn't. Because for a couple of years, Josh Allen was having to run the ball. He was a leading rusher in several games. He was taking shots he probably didn't need to take. So now, with Cook there, don't count the Bills out yet, guys. Bills get a big win, 40-9 over the Panthers, blowout. There was some fireworks after the game. I don't know what went on after the game, but a little confrontation after the game between Bills and Panthers player. Panthers come back down to earth after that. Playing really good football. But I think with the Panthers, if the Panthers get behind, they can't depend on their passing game. Bryce Young was out. I don't think he would have done much better than what Dalton did, but you're looking at your running game. And once you get down, you can't run the ball. And that's what kills the Panthers. So Texans and 49ers. Houston's offense finally comes to life. 26-15 over the 49ers. Where is this Texans offense? The defense has been there, but where's this offense been? And granted, the 49ers defense is banged up. Is that what the deal was? I don't know. 49ers are kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde team this year. They can show up and play really well when you don't expect them to. And then, I think everybody expecting them to beat the Texans. But they lose to the Texans 26-15. Texans moved to 3-4, and that all of a sudden really competitive AFC South. 49ers fall to 5-3. Eagles and Giants, we talked about this earlier. I think I got a wrong score up here. We'll check that right quick. Yep, 38-20. The Eagles get the win. One big story from this, Cam Scatterbo out with a gruesome ankle injury. It just snapped. He went sideways, and the curse for the Giants, the injury curse for the Giants continues with Malik Neighbors going out early in the season for the year. Now Scatterbo's out, a big part of that offense. Jackson Dart, I think, is going to be the real deal. I really do. He's ultra competitive. He's going to make some mistakes. Of course, he's going to make mistakes, but that's what you expect. But I think he's going to be the answer for the Giant quarterback. And hopefully Scatterbo will be back. I did hear a great story. The head of security for the Eagles, I forget his name, but he did stop by the hospital where Scatterbo was at and had food for Scatterbo's family and him. Classy move. You did. City of brotherly love, yeah, but you don't usually see that out of Philly. Sorry, Philly guys. Y'all know it's true. Y'all were the ones that booed Michael Irvin when he was down on the turf might have been paralyzed, and y'all didn't boo, y'all were cheering. So yeah. Saquon goes off on his old team. Second play of the game. He breaks a long run, catches a touchdown pass. That game was tarnished by the tush push call, though. Who knows what the Eagles are going to do this year? 6-2 now. Giants are 2-6, and had a little momentum going. But now, how deflating is this going to be when you got Scatterbo is going to be out? now. I mean, he was a big part of that offense. So, and now you got your secondary's banged up, really banged up. So now it's just like, what do you do? I mean, I can speak from experience with the football team I coached this year. Injuries to key players will kill your confidence. And I mean, NFL, of course, you got more players in the NFL, of course, but it does kill your confidence when a big part of your offense, a big part of your game plan is out. And when you don't have guys, top rated guys that can defend the pass, I mean, that's what, your opposing team's going to pick on that for sure. And you don't blame them. Patriots. Man, are the Patriots playing well. Drake May. Maybe I was wrong about Drake May. I didn't think he was the answer, but maybe I was wrong about him. Mike Vrabel has done a heck of a job with his team. My Steelers beat them earlier in the season, but it took 4 turnovers by the Patriots to get that win, and we just eked it out. Vrabel, like I said, Vrabel's a good coach. I mean, I think he's at home in New England, and obviously New England makes some noise. It's going to be an interesting race in the AFC East between the Bills and the Patriots. Myles Garrett, 5 sacks. Team record 5 sacks. But watch him at the end of that game, sitting on the bench by himself, ticked off on the sideline. But guess what? I don't feel sorry for you, buddy. Nobody made you sign that contract when you made that trade. You made that trade demand. You could be sitting pretty somewhere else right now with a team that wants to win. But instead, you're there in Cleveland where they could screw up a 2-car funeral. They always find a way to screw up a good situation. And until they show me otherwise, I'm gonna keep saying it. Cleveland is trash. The Browns are a trash organization. They don't know what they're doing. So, mark my words, they will find a way every time. Deshaun Watson deal, paid him too much money. What has he done besides cause you problems? You had Baker Mayfield as your quarterback because he had a shoulder injury that he tried to play through and put himself out there. Every play he was out there playing his butt off. You let him go. What's he doing in Tampa Bay now? Browns make idiot football decisions. Whoever is in that seat automatically becomes a idiot. I mean, your quarterback room. You had 6 quarterbacks, 5 or 6 quarterbacks this year. Now you're down to 2? And you're paying 8 quarterbacks. Now you're paying 8, some that are not on your roster anymore. Smart move there. Maybe you need to get Kevin Costner to come run your team like in draft day. All right, another AFC North team, the Ravens, the banged up Ravens. But guess what, guys? Ravens are getting healthy again. And saying Lamar might be back Thursday night against the Dolphins. Watch out for the Ravens now. As much as I hate to say it, they got some weapons back on defense, and they looked better. They shut down the Bears. The Bears made they went down the field on the opening drive, but on first 2 drives, they could only get field goals out of it. And then the Ravens defense settled down. Huntley, he was a good game manager. Derrick Henry had a big game. The running game was really good for the Ravens. So you better watch out for the Ravens now. I'm not one to count them out just yet. They get the win 30-16 over the Bears. They moved to 2-5. Bears fought a 4-3. Who is Chicago? What's their identity? I mean, you got Caleb Williams at quarterback, but you're not a passing team, are you? What is the Bears' identity? Are they a defensive team? Are they a running team? No, you don't really know, and that's what bothers me about this Bears team. Why I don't consider. I mean, they dominated the Cowboys, but then they come back and lay eggs. I mean, who are you, Chicago Bears? Dolphins and Falcons. Speaking of who are you? Tua throws 4 TDs with one eye almost swollen shut. Dolphins get to win 34-10 over the Falcons. Penix is injured. Captain Kirk comes in, not effective. McDaniel gets to keep his job for another week. I'll put that this way. The Dolphins, I believe he's off the hot seat after a few more wins. It's going to take more than just one win to do this. So they moved to 2-6. Falcons fall to 3-4. Buccaneers and the Saints. Are the Saints the worst team in football? I think they're right there. They could be the worst team in football. Spencer Rattler, he gets benched. Buccaneers, Tampa Bay's contenders, guys. Tampa Bay's contenders. Baker Mayfield's got that team playing really well. And they play well on both sides of the ball. They're smart. Todd Bowles, he's a defensive guru. 6-2, first in the AFC South. Could the AFC South finally have a team that wins that league with a really good record instead of having a near 500 or under 500 record? Saints fall to 1-7. Saints, you might be on the clock already for the draft. Broncos and Cowboys. My buddy Eric Sawyer. Sorry, bud. Cowboys defense is terrible. And believe me, we're going to talk about my boys in a minute, so don't worry. Don't think you're alone. Cowboys defense is terrible. Jerry's talking about doing a trade for a defensive player. Could Max Crosby from the Raiders be in the mix to be a Cowboy? And would that make a big difference? But guys, guess what? You got rid of Micah. Big mistake. You didn't get enough for him. You really didn't. I think Clark is there, but what has he done? Your secondary is in shambles. I mean, Bo Nix lit you guys up. Bo Nix and the Broncos look solid. I mean, they really look solid. That defense is all over the place. And those two young, I guess they're running backs. They've got a really young team. They've got the nucleus for a team that could be, if not this year, could be really good for years to come if they stay together and they stay healthy. Broncos get to win 44-24. A lot talked about the Cowboys offense after they went off against the Commanders. They were going to, Pickens and Lamb were going to light it up. Broncos shut them down mostly. They didn't hurt them, that's for sure. Ferguson was almost unfound. You never heard Ferguson's name much, and as big a weapon as he is. Dak throws an interception, throws 2 interceptions. The Cowboys fall to 3-4-1. The Broncos 6-2. That AFC West looks like a really, really good division right now, except for the Raiders. Raiders lost in the bye week. They got shut out on the bye week. Next game, the surprise of the NFL. The Indianapolis Colts versus the Tennessee Titans. Colts for real? I think it's safe to say the Colts are one of the best teams in the AFC right now. Daniel Jones. You talk about change of scenery can really help somebody. Yeah. Daniel Jones has benefited from change of scenery. Colts are on fire. Jonathan Taylor, MVP? I think so. Two more touchdowns this week. He's on pace to be the Triple Crown or rushing to lead the league in all touchdowns, carries, rushing yards. Don't get hurt. Titans versus Saints. That should be a game during wild card weekend. You should have this game, the worst two teams in football, Titans versus Saints. Whoever loses gets the first round pick. Well, no, take it back. Whoever wins gets the number one pick. Have that, make it interesting. I bet the Titans win. The Saints are horrible. Alvin Kamara will probably not be a Saint much longer. So, Sunday night game. Oh. Packers and Steelers. The ugly uniforms. Aaron Rodgers trying to beat all 32 teams in the NFL. Packers, of course, are the only team he has not beat yet. And it starts off pretty good. Going into the third quarter or the fourth quarter, we're up 16-14. Somewhere near the end of that game, or end of that quarter, things started to fall apart. And I think one thing was Cam Hayward made the comment after the game that they started worrying about missed calls, like the encroachment call that wasn't called on Green Bay, the push-off that wasn't called. They started worrying about missed calls and arguing about that and stopped playing football. And Jordan Love just lit them up. Jordan Love could be for real, guys. He's coming out. Over 300 yards. Packers looked good on defense. We had to settle for field goals a lot. I say we, y'all didn't know I've signed. I'm on the practice squad for the Steelers. Yeah, I could probably play pass defense better than Darius Slay and tackle better than Darius Slay. He's not the only one though. Our defense, one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid defense in football, played like crap. They look like crap, and now Terrell Austin. When you've done this defense came into the season as being the strong point. And I can't say anything about Aaron Rodgers. As much as I hated this move, didn't want this move to happen, Aaron Rodgers has played pretty good. He's moved that offense. The defense has just been horrible. And like I said, Eric Sawyer, I told you I was going to talk about my boys too. They're trash right now. And Tomlin comes out and says he was defending Terrell Austin. I mean, why don't you say, Tomlin, I've been a big defender of Tomlin over the years. Why don't you say, yeah, something needs to be done about our defense? Hold him accountable. Because the offense was playing good. You gave up 35 points. You gave up over 30 points. That's the second week in a row. That's not Pittsburgh Steelers football. Could Tomlin have lost this locker room in Pittsburgh? Is it time for Tomlin to go? I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm starting to think it might be time for Tomlin to go. I don't think it's going to be one of these, and I hope I'm wrong because I'm a Steelers fan. I don't think it's going to be one of these late season rallies to get you just over 500 to get you in the first round of playoffs so you can lose. But I could be wrong. Packers go to 5-1-1. Steelers drop to 4-3. Still in first place in the AFC North, which looks like the NFC South in recent years. Chiefs and Commanders. Guys, we knew this game was going to be with Jaden Daniels out. No offense to you, Mariota. Redskins or Commanders defense is horrible too. Dallas lit them up. And you're playing a Kansas City team that is getting back on track. Rice is back. He's made a big difference since he's came back. But Mahomes is still throwing picks. He's not the perfect Patrick Mahomes that Chris Collinsworth loves and worships. But the Chiefs look like they're getting confident again after a rough start to the year. I'm looking at penalties. Washington had 9 penalties for 95 yards. Kansas City 3 for 35. Imagine that. But Jaden Daniels out, guys. That takes away a big weapon. You take away running and passing from Washington. I didn't think it was going to be a close game, and it wasn't. So, yeah, not surprised that Washington falls to 3-5. The Chiefs moved to 5-3. Like I said, watch that AFC West this year, guys. It's going to be one of the best divisions, if not the best division in football. So let's look at the power rankings. Start at the bottom. Tennessee. I don't think I agree with this. They moved them down one. I don't think I agree with Tennessee being at the bottom. I think the Saints are worse. And then they got the Jets. The Jets at 31st. After their first win, they moved up one spot. This is from the score.com, by the way, guys. The Raiders are at 30th, which I can see Raiders. Raiders won 2 games, though. They beat the Patriots week 1. On the road, the Saints are 1-7. I just don't see it, guys. I don't see where they're better than they beat the Giants somehow. Giants fans, I know you wish you had that game back. But I don't see the Saints being that great. Arizona at 28th. I mean, they're nothing special, guys. They play Dallas, I think, Monday night. Bengals at 27th. They blew that game against the Jets. Like you said, Cleveland Browns 2-6. I mean, somehow they beat the Packers. The Packer fans, I bet you're scratching your head right now because Michael was there, wondering how they lost to Cleveland. Miami, 25th. I mean, they moved up 4 spots. Don't get excited, Miami fans. I mean, I know you should get excited whenever you win, but I think this is a train wreck, and I think Tua has got issues with the rest of his team calling him out. McDaniel's not going to be there much longer, but Giants at 24th, just a crushing blow. After beating the Eagles 34-17 on was a Thursday night game and losing Scatterbo and Neighbors, man, that if Dart keeps coming along and you get Neighbors and Scatterbo back healthy next year, watch out for the Giants. Panthers, 23rd. They dropped 5 spots after that blowout against the Bills. Yeah, I can see that. I just don't see. I mean, you got the good running game with Rico Dowdle, but I don't know. I'm just not excited about the Panthers. Sorry, guys. Commanders at 21st. These guys beat the Chargers by 17 points. And that's when I thought, okay, it's starting to come together for them. Daniels is going to get healthy. It's going to start to come together. We'll see. Let's see. Vikings at 21st. I don't feel like I'd be excited about J.J. McCarthy coming in the lineup, guys. I don't think it's going to be a good rest of the year. Falcons. You come off that big win against the Bills. And then your defense just doesn't play against the Dolphins. I mean, a letdown game could be. Cowboys, 19th. You got a great offense, but your defense is one move on defense, a trade on defense for one guy going to make that much of a difference on the defense? I don't think so. But you got to try. I mean, you can't just sit back and go, let's not do anything. You got to try and see. But that offense is good. Houston Texans, they move up 4 spot to 22nd. I don't know if they're so Jekyll and Hyde-ish. What are they going to do? Get to the playoffs again and just lay an egg in the playoffs like some other teams do? Bears, not excited about these guys at all. They don't have an identity. Ben Johnson, you need to, at least with the Lions, when you had an identity there for the Lions. Baltimore, watch out. Watch out for Baltimore. They moved up 8 spots this week. As much as it pains me to say, watch out for Baltimore. Okay, now my screen's freezing up a little bit here, guys. Hold on. 15th was Pittsburgh. I don't know. I don't know what to say about Pittsburgh. Disappointing. Probably shouldn't be 15th right now. There's no confidence on that team. They played Renegade the other night, and everybody was like, oh, they'll get fired up now. First play, Green Bay found crap. Don't know how to cover a tight end. I don't know if Terrell Austin teaches his players how to cover tight ends. Chargers at 14th. They've got an early win against the Chiefs at the opening week. That was good. That may prove to help them later in the year when it comes getting ready for playoff time. 49ers at 13th. They dropped 3 spots. Injuries killing these guys, but they're still 5-3. Jacksonville, they got to win over the Chiefs. But they were on a bye week this week. They lost 2 in a row. I don't know about Jacksonville. I think they're gonna falter. Broncos, strong, very strong. Have already beat the Eagles, beat the Cowboys, came back in that big win over the Giants. They look good. They look really good. Buffalo at 10th. I think Buffalo's going to catch fire now, guys. Watch out for Buffalo. New England at number 9. It's going to be a neck-and-neck race with New England. I know they got the win at Buffalo, so now they have to get back at New England. The Bills have to beat them in New England. Eagles, playing good ball. They look good at times. This past week, their offense looked like last year's offense. Their defense has not performed the way that defense did in the Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes. Seahawks, big surprise here. I'm shocked the Seahawks are 5-2. Matt Darnold, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll give you that. But let's see how he started like this with Minnesota last year. Let's see how he finishes. Tampa Bay, like I said, contenders. Baker Mayfield, love the guy. I think he's great. I would love to play with Baker Mayfield. Love to have him as a quarterback. I wish somehow, some way, Pittsburgh could have got him. But Tampa Bay, if you need to keep him there and keep him there for a while. Green Bay, if Jordan Love comes around, they could be big contenders. Rams are playing really good. Stafford has not shown the effects of that injury that was in the offseason. And with Nacua out, and they beat down Jacksonville with Nacua out, who knows what we'll see from the Rams this year. Maybe the Rams have got it this year. Chiefs. I think right now they're the most dangerous team in the AFC right now. Colts might be the best team, but watch out. That experience and those weapons on both sides of the ball, watch out for Kansas City too. Colts, just keep wondering when they're going to come back down to earth. And every week you say, this will be the week, but it doesn't happen. I hope this week is the week. And then the Lions. After that first week, the loss to the Packers, you were like, what is going on with the Lions? They look bad. And now, they got the win over the Buccaneers, which was an impressive win. Nobody's asking questions anymore, guys, including me, because I was like, ugh, losing both those coordinators have really hurt them. But apparently not. Apparently I was wrong. So now they've got it on track. All right. So let's give our predictions for this week. Ravens and Dolphins at Miami. Ravens win this. Lamar's back. If he's back, it's going to be bad. Dolphins are going to come back down to earth. Broncos and Texans. Broncos shut down that Texans offense. Bo Nix goes off. With all the weapons he's got on offense, they continue to improve. Broncos get the win. 49ers and Giants. Giants are just too banged up. Just too banged up on both sides of the ball. I think the 49ers win that one. Panthers and Packers at Green Bay. Green Bay gets the win easily. Colts and Steelers at Pittsburgh. While I want to say it's going to be an upset, Pittsburgh's going to circle the wagons and come out and upset the Colts. I don't think it's going to happen. Unless you get pressure on Daniel Jones. Pittsburgh can come up with pressure on Daniel Jones. Colts will win that. It'll be close, but they'll win that. Vikings and Lions. Lions in a blowout. Sorry, McKinley, John Michael. Chargers and Titans. Chargers win. Bengals and Bears in a game that it will be the worst, most boring game of the year. I think the Bengals beat the Bears. Falcons and Patriots. Patriots continue to roll. Kirk Cousins looks like he's going to be starting this week. At New England. New England's going to roll and get this one. Jacksonville and the Raiders. The Raiders. Nope. Jacksonville. Close game, though. Close game. Raiders lose. Jacksonville gets a win. Saints and Rams. Oh, geez. Rams should blow the Saints out. Chiefs and Bills. At Buffalo. See, Buffalo wins these games in the regular season. But when it comes to playoff time, somehow the Chiefs, whether it's referee calls, yeah, I said it, or just leaving too much time on the clock by Buffalo, the Chiefs managed to win the postseason game. I'm gonna go with Buffalo here. Seahawks and Commanders. Don't know if Jaden Daniels will be back this week or not. I got Seahawks taking a win, edging them out by maybe a field goal. That's the Sunday night game. And then your Monday night game, Arizona at Dallas. Dallas playing at home. I think Dallas gets a win big here. Bye week is Cleveland, the Jets, the Eagles, and the Bucks. So, but yeah. So yeah, guys, like I said, check us out on the Sports Objective podcast tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. We're previewing the Temple ECU game. If you're an ECU fan or you're just a sports fan and want to chime in, we'll have some guests on there tomorrow night. We're going to crank this back up every week now, guys. I'm going to have some guests on. We'll be getting some guys in here for interviews. But I hope you guys will tune in and get back on track. We're going to get this show back on track like it was before. But anyway, guys, who do I have in the World Series? I don't really care if either one of them wins, but I'd rather Toronto wins because you're Savage from ECU. There's two players from ECU on that team. And I like to see them get a World Series. It's a good story with you Savage starting off in single A ball and at the start of the year and ended up starting game one of the World Series and getting the win there. But yeah, and like I said, who cares about the NBA? I mean, right now, I guarantee. I'm going to look at the scoreboard right now for the NBA. Current games. 9 minutes and 46 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Still 10 minutes left. And they're already over 100 points in Washington, Philadelphia. Charlotte and Miami just started the third quarter, already got 70 points apiece. Miami with 80. I mean, there's no defense being played, guys. Argue me if you want to. Argue me all you want to, but you won't win. You won't convince me about this situation here with the NBA. It's a sham of what it used to be. And that's just me. My opinions, guys. Everybody's got them. And it would be a boring place if we all agreed on the same thing. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this week. Join us next week. Hopefully my new co-host will be with me next week. Hope he's feeling better tonight. Get well soon. And we'll see you next week. And be sure, guys, I'm incorporating the final score and on the fly to my personal account because it's just easier for me to do it that way. But I still will be posting in the groups, stuff like that. But my personal page, Facebook, will be where you find the main stuff at. So be sure to check it out and follow me on Facebook. Give me a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast at. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Final Score YouTube channel. We appreciate whatever you can do there for us. It doesn't cost you anything. It takes you 2 minutes to write a 5-star review and to subscribe. That's going to do it, guys. We'll see you next week. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next week on the Final Score.